Hi friends, this is Amanda Nardozzi. Thanks for hopping into my little ferret den here. For those of you that are new, welcome to this space. This reading is for the full moon in Virgo. So for anybody here that just for the reading, go ahead and skip to the timestamp. I'm going to post it down in the description box below. That way you can get right on into it. For those of you that are returning, or even for those of you that are new that want to learn a little bit more about me, feel free to stick around for a little bit. I'm going to have a little chat session because it's been a while since I've been here. But for those of you returning, it is so good to see your faces again. I mean, I'm not seeing them, but I'm feeling the energy of the presence of you guys coming back, and I feel so blessed to be able to share this space with you and to just have you here with me. So as you can see, I'm in a new space. So I was absent for a little bit. I was absent for like a hot minute, and that's mainly my Saturn return. A lot of life changes. Like I swapped careers, I got a health diagnosis, I lost two of the four of my ferrets. They were old and sick, and we're recovered and we're okay. We're all healed up, I think, but you know, it's still, you know, always in our hearts type of thing. So, you know, had a lot of wonderful memories with them. I met someone, I moved in with that someone, and now I'm in this gorgeous sunroom that I realize I have way too many plants for. So it's a full-on plant clean out before spring is coming in. Spring is like my time to be alive, okay? So I'm very excited. I'm prepping. I'm going to like this little seed festival thing, like a little seed swap. So I'm getting ready to, because I have like, I guess, a little garden out front now. So I get to do things with it because my partner doesn't really, it's not his thing. He just looks at it and he's like, okay, so the people before me had that, but that's not my thing, but it is totally my thing. So I'm all into it, okay? So I'm very excited about that. So there are lots of plans there. And my partner also has a dog. So if you hear him whining in the background or barking, he's a cute little corgi. This is kind of his space. This is his sunroom. This couch right here is his bed. So I love how he just kind of adopted my couch as his bed. But this is like his special space. So I don't want to take up too much of his space. So I do want to take us through this reading in one take. I hear him whining in the background because he heard his name and he's just so full of love. So I'll have to give him lots of cuddles and love after this. But that being said, I do have a poll coming up shortly on my channel in the community tab, and it talks about which like what you would like to see, because I reorganized my my work schedule to where I can do weekly videos for the zodiac signs again, which, oh my gosh, I miss doing. I love doing zodiac sign readings, but unfortunately I just did not have the schedule to accommodate that. But now that I've moved things around and I swapped careers, I have a little bit more freedom in my day. I can move things around as needed. I have more time, so I can do weekly zodiac signs. Another option is to do bi-weekly zodiac signs. But that would be in accordance with the new moon and full moon. So this full moon doesn't really count just because I'm putting out a collective reading, but the next new moon, for example, I'd be posting Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and going through all of the signs, but specifically a new moon reading for each one. Now, if I did the bi-weeklies, I would still post my collective readings, my pick-a-card readings. They would happen in more frequency probably than if I posted weekly with the zodiac signs, just because with the weeklies are like twice the amount of work, so it would be, I wouldn't really have as much time to do like the collective readings as I could, but it's still an option and it's still there, and I do want to see what my current audience would like to see more from in terms of like when they do their energetic check-ins, when they seem to best feel served, whether it be weekly, whether it be bi-weekly. So I do want to help you guys out there because I love giving readings. I've been doing a lot of vendor fairs. I've been doing events around the city, so I feel like my confidence has kind of gone up a little bit more to like get back in the game, because I was like, oh my gosh, it's, you know, when it's like you get into a skill or a hobby and it's been so long that it's been a long time since you've jumped into it. So now that you're into it, you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't touched this in a while. Like, am I even that good? Like, you know, the doubts start coming up because you're out of the swing of things. You're out of your routine. So now that I'm back, I'm feeling good. So I'm ready to start posting consistently. And I feel like I'm in like a really good space to do that now. So that being said, again, thank you so much for checking in. Let me know how you're doing down in the comments. It's so good to see everyone again. It's just really good to be in this space. I'm going to start shuffling cards now. So this is going to be the starting point. We're going to celebrate the full moon in Virgo by checking in with the energy, seeing what this cycle brings you. and go from there. Because I know I've been through a crap ton of changes, but I also recognize that it is my Saturn return. So while I have a lot going on, that may not necessarily be the case for everyone else. Now, I have tuned into various astrologers, and usually with the new moon and full moon forecasts, they're, depending on where you're at in the world, it can affect different signs and whatnot, but it almost seems like Virgo carries a specific energy, and depending on your own natal chart, it's going to affect you in different ways. The only general thing that I can place on this, from my knowledge, is that Virgo is a meticulous house. Virgo sign, the Virgo sign rules the 6th house, I should say. The Virgo sign rules the 6th house, which is our work, habits, career, things like that. And they are all about habits, routine, related to self-care, related to health. Very focused on the give and take interaction is the Virgo energy. So we're gonna like tune in and see for this full moon, what's the general energy, just the message for those of you that are coming to this channel. So thank you, Archangel Michael, for protecting our space, and thank you, Archangel Raphael, for helping me channel healing messages to the collective, to those that need it. Ooh, okay. So right off the bat, you're getting balance, spirituality, and practicality, full moon in Pisces. You also have another one, a personal issue, reaches resolution, full moon in Cancer. You have 2 water signs, and they're both full moons. And the thing with the full moon is that they are high intensity, high emotional intensity, and usually around full moons, huge life events happen, or big things happen that bring out some sort of transformation or change within us. And especially with Pisces, Pisces and Cancer, both water signs, that's why I'm like, okay, this has to tune in with the emotions here. When you're balancing spirituality and practicality, this cycle for the full moon can focus on learning to ground your dreams into reality. I do feel like some of you want to hit the ground running, but you may have, like, especially when it comes to your dreams, but you may have felt stopped because there is an issue that you've had that, or something that you felt like has been stopping you. But I do feel like that issue or that thing that has been stopping you, you're starting to work out either that it wasn't much of an issue at all, or that you are reaching some form of conclusion, or that it's about to not be an obstacle anymore. I feel like some obstacle has been surmounted. Either it was an external thing that you needed to wait for to pass. I'm kind of feeling for a lot of you it's an external thing that needed to pass and you needed to just wait it out. For others, I don't know, it's just like a sucky time. For some of you, it was just, okay, well, I just went through like a really sucky time. Some of you I'm hearing is a breakup. So maybe you had to go through this breakup and then you had to transform as a person. It was a big emotional thing for you, and now you feel like your feet are on the ground and you feel like you're a little bit more stable when you're like, okay, now I can reach for my dreams. Now I can make my dreams a reality. And that's interesting because when you're balancing spirituality and practicality, this does, even though it's a Pisces card, it does feel very Virgo, because you're trying to get the details. You're trying to sort out the practicality of it. So how can I make my dreams? How can I ground my heaven on earth? How can I ground my dreams? How can I make that manifest around me? So I want to pull some of these oracle cards and start doing columns and look into the advice or different elements of your circumstance to see if we can pick this apart a little bit more. Some of you, oh yeah, definitely a transformation. You're having to face a lot of fears, and I feel like for a lot of you it's a confidence issue. So, yeah. So come to the edge. This is dancing with your fear, learning to dance with your fear, learning to step out of your comfort zone. A lot of you, your comfort zone, especially as of recently, and especially when you're coming out of a hurt, it does feel like it's a small enclosed space that you put yourself in to keep yourself safe, which serves a purpose. There's nothing wrong with being in your comfort zone, but then there's a time to step out of it, which can seem a little scary. So that's kind of, I use a lot of personal examples on this channel. So if you stuck around for my life update at the beginning, I did mention something along the lines of, having not touched tarot for a while or oracle for a while, and then worrying about my channeling skills, like, are they sharp enough? Did I did I lose some of that ability? Like, am I even that good? Like, there was that period of time where I needed to withdraw to myself to tend to my life, and then I was able to step out of my comfort zone and, you know, go to places like vendor fairs and do events, like, and put myself out there in person. So that's the kind of comfort, like stepping out of your comfort zone, things that you might have been able to do before, things that you might have done before, but it's almost like Spirit's like, you know, these are things that you've done before, but maybe you've lost confidence for over time because you've had to be in your comfort zone for a little bit. But now it's almost like you are coming out of this transformation stronger, and you're able to step into more, able to step into stronger routines for yourself. I'm hearing something about your routines and how those are sharpening. So I do feel like there's a lot more discipline and strength behind those routines. So if you felt there was a lack of discipline in stepping into your dreams, or following through on what you say you're going to do, you might feel the energy now to actually do those things, because it's cultivated your inner strength. So the strength card comes up when we are meant to use that inner strength, especially, I just heard like you're tough. You were taught. Spirit taught you through the thing that you just went through. Spirit taught you through that. And you know, I'm getting the chills right now as I say this, but you will know if this message is for you, because you will feel that on a soul level. That's how you'll know this message is for you. But you also have the Sire of Pentacles under here. This is the King of Pentacles for a lot of you. This has to do with, you know, how are you going to make money from your dreams? You don't have to. It's not something that you have to, but it's almost like, I want to be stable in my career, or I want financial freedom. I want financial stability. So for a lot of you, stepping out of your comfort zone, maybe you're trying to earn an income from your dreams that you're trying to do. Maybe you didn't take the proper measures before, like, you know, for example, maybe you didn't put yourself out there enough when you were trying to make a dream work, and then now you have the strength to do that. But the Sire of Pentacles does concern the material, the wealth, any of the finances that go with it, or anything involving the material world. So for some of you, you're trying to make like a financial future from your dreams, or that it is like, or you were trying to reach, if you're not trying to make finances from this thing that you're trying to pursue, you needed to be in a good financial space in order to do this. So for example, I'm getting like somebody who's like into like crafting mosaics or something. You might have needed a certain amount of income to invest in the glass, like to make your mosaic pieces, or maybe you dreamed of making these huge mosaic pieces, but art supplies are expensive, craft things are expensive, so needing the money or needing the savings built up to set aside to invest in those hobbies, or invest in that thing that, you know, makes you come alive, those dreams, and now you're able to bring that dream into reality with those finances. So it's either one of two scenarios. You figure out how that applies in your life. You also have Three of Cups, so either way, it's a time for celebration. So when you are, and I feel like this is currently something you're feeling now. If you haven't felt it, then it's something that you are gaining the courage to do very soon, is doing things that, again, might have felt very fearful for you, but it's almost like you're like, okay, well, I've been through it. I've been through some shit. I've seen some shit, and I don't care. Like, if the worst of the worst happens from what I was fearing before, it doesn't matter to me anymore, because this, or like either earning income because you're in a drastic situation, or whether it's, okay, well, I'm just going to do it because I worked hard to get here, regardless of what that scenario is, it's almost like this is what matters more now. Forget the fears. Like, this is what matters more to me right now. So you have that Three of Cups, which is the celebration. So the celebration for coming out of your comfort zone. You also have the regeneration card. So regeneration, it's like a second life. Spirit's like, this is a second life. This is a new beginning for you. And some of you don't even know it. Like, some of you might feel something on the horizon, but it's almost like, I see like the sun coming up over the horizon. Like, I see you watching the sunrise, and you don't know how big and bright and beautiful that sun is, but you're gonna see it once it comes up over, and then you like see it shining overhead and how much life it gives you. And that instills a lot more hope and faith than you've had before. So look forward to that. Look forward to this being bigger than you thought, because this is going to amount to something, or this does feel like it's going to be an integral part of your life. But it's almost like some of you don't see it, or don't see how. Like, I heard some of you say, like, I'm hearing like energy of saying like, okay, well, I see threads of it. I see threads of it. I see like potential paths that this could take me, but it's almost like Spirit's like, no, you have no idea. You have no idea where this is going to take you. You have the Eight of Pentacles here, so this is steady, consistent works. Again, some of you, this is like a strong routine card. And Virgo, with the full moon in Virgo, is all about routines. So this reading isn't just for like the the full moon in Virgo is like a pivotal point, and that's going to help some of you shift and take control of that energy and be able to cultivate more self-discipline towards what it is you want to do, because you'll have the energy, you'll have the motivation, the inspiration. Eight of Pentacles is strong, consistent work. Some of you have been spending too much time clapping back at others who have not believed in you, and it's almost like you realize that you wasted your breath. That energy can be used on this Eight of Pentacles energy with working towards your goals and basically showing them the receipts. I quoted this song from in a previous video too, because I love it so much. It's that Connor Price song. It's called Receipts, where he's like, I don't want to tell them everything I'm going to do. I would rather show them everything that I achieved. I don't want to tell them that I got it without proof. I would rather show them the receipts. So that being said, I just took those words. I literally, I got to write them down and post them on the wall or something, because I got to frame it, put it up high, put it on your wall. I love it so much. It gives me so much confidence. It gives me such a confidence boost when I look at it, because that just reminds me to not pay attention to other people's doubts or not invest emotional energy. You don't have to. Some of you are clapping back and some of you are engaging with this energy trying to convince them, and others are just spending hours or even just a fraction of their time thinking about it and feeling down about it. And don't get me wrong, it's very human to think about something and wish you had that support from these people, but that's not always going to be the case. And it's almost like Spirit's you're spending too long thinking about it, investing in it, clapping back, thinking of that energy. They specifically said clapping back. So some of you might actually be trying to engage with that energy, which can be even more draining. But that being said, again, you have another celebration card. I call the Four of Wands another celebration card, because Spirit's dancing in heaven. They're like, oh my gosh, look at you go. A lot of times this card also talks about generational trauma too. I don't know why I'm saying that specifically, but 4 has always come up as something in the ancestral line. And it's almost like you're healing something in the ancestral line. So specifically, it's either, it is a hope and a faith thing. I feel like people from your past maybe haven't had as much hope, and maybe you weren't taught to have hope, or maybe you felt that carried through just the lineage in general. And even if you're adopted and you never grew up with that family, we might still carry some of those lessons or some of those wounds from biological, or even the just the spiritual things that we come in with from previous lifetimes. I get more that this is ancestral thing though. So your actual biological lineage, or just whatever you were taught, following that line. Not to say everything is your parents or grandparents or whatever's fault, but it's almost spiritually we help each other. We help the previous generation heal the wounds. We do that for ourselves mainly. When we're in the spirit, when we're in the physical, we mainly do that for ourselves because we want to live better, we want to be better, we want to do better, and we want to enjoy life. And but that has a spiritual effect on the whole ancestral line of, now we are working on healing because we see how you're doing it, and that's how we should have done it, or that's what we could have done. And it's almost like ancestral units kind of work together, soul groups, soul families, your ancestral line, they work together to transform ourselves and transform our energies as a collective. So literally, this is why everyone up in heaven, your ancestors, even if you're not close with your family, this is why they're celebrating. They're like, oh my God, yay! We're all getting healed right now. They still got to do their work, obviously, but they're seeing you surmount these things, and they're like, yes! So dance with them, celebrate with them, learn to celebrate yourself more and celebrate how far you've come. Some of us don't give ourselves that kind of grace. We also have the Knight of Swords here. Knight of Swords, especially under regeneration. Let me sit with this card and see what's coming through, because I do feel like this is kind of moving in a different direction. This is a different type of energy. What are we talking about here? Something about your skill level. So it's almost like your skill level. Knight of Swords is one of the fastest knights in the tarot. They're saying something about skill level, and that's what I'm hearing in my ear. And then something up leveling really fast. So I'm seeing an exponential type of growth. I'm seeing you start kind of like this, and then all of a sudden it shoots up. So whatever you're working towards might develop quicker than you imagine, or it might blow up in like a good way. It kind of reminds me, okay, so if you play video games, it kind of reminds me of Power World. To be honest, that's what I've been playing a lot of recently. But it basically, like, and this is very common with a lot of early access games, where, like, developers release something, and then they say, okay, well, this game isn't finished yet, but y'all tell me how it is, and then we'll fix it, and then tell us the features you want to see, and then we'll work on it. And I don't think they expected it to blow up like it did. But that's, like, and then their servers couldn't handle a lot of the people getting on it and playing. And it's a lot of fun. But a lot of games have that problem where they don't anticipate being as big as they do. And then they do. And then they're like, holy crap, I have to do so much work. Like, there's a lot of pressure to get it right. So, not to say you'll encounter this pressure. I feel like for each one of you, like, I see different energetic lines past this exponential increase. So I see everybody dealing with different challenges, so Spirit doesn't want me to tune in specifically to that, because some of you, like, again, like, they don't even want me to speak. They're like, don't even speak on that, because it could be anything from one thing to, like, anything on the other side of the spectrum, because you're gonna encounter challenges. But I see specifically with your skill level, it's just an increase. It's gonna be a sharp increase. So keep that in mind. You also have, lastly, you have soulmates. So soulmate connections, that could be of great help to you. I feel like you'll be comforted by your loved ones. And I keep, like, seeing this with this full moon card in Cancer. There's another, there's a new moon card, I think, in this deck. New moon in Cancer, and it's you and your loved ones are safe. That might actually be a full moon, I'm not sure. But this is a personal issue reaches a resolution, but I'm also seeing a lot of you and your loved ones are safe. So, like, however you're going about this, your path is protected. Like, it's almost like, this kind of reminds me of somebody who wants to do various different things with their life. Like, it feels like Seven of Cups energy, and you're like, okay, I know I want to act on one of my dreams, but which one do I do? It's almost like Spirit's like, anything that you do is protected. So, like, and by protected, I mean, like, some of you can be successful with anything that you put your mind to, or anything that, I know that sounds very cliche, but, like, when I keep seeing that card, like, you and your loved ones are safe, if you worry that, like, oh, I'm not gonna do well with this, or, like, this is just not the right path for me, I'm worried that this isn't the right path for me, but I want it to be the right path for me, Spirit's like, that's not even a concern, because we're going to help you with whatever it is that you pursue. So keeping that in mind, I do feel like the soulmates, like the people that surround you, this could be in the form of a romantic partner, this could be in the form of friendships, family, anybody in your social circle. I'm getting for a lot of you 11th house. So a lot of these could be your friendship groups, your soul family, your soul tribe. If you have that, for a lot of you, it's anything involving the 11th house of, community. Those are the people you want to rely on, because they're going to be your biggest support. Ace of Swords, they're going to help you come up with new ideas. So they're actually going to help you keep logical about this new start. They might not 100% be on the same page as you. They might not understand, like, some of us have support systems that are a little bit, like, we feel like we don't have support because we don't have people in our lives that 100% fully align with our vision and what we want to do, but they're still there to say, hey, you do you, boo. Like, those are the you do you, boo people. And sometimes that's good support. When you feel like you have nothing else, sometimes that's good support too. So just letting them bounce ideas off of you, or hearing them go like, oh, well, in my company, we do X, Y, and Z. So maybe you can find a way to apply that for your business. That's still really good advice. You take that, you use that support, and you roll with it, and you help it make you successful. Because if it worked for somebody else, chances are it's probably going to work for you too. That's not always the case, but it's always good to try new things and see what works. But I see new ideas being generated. The Seven of Pentacles, there's the, like, they'll help you, like, figure out the facts. Seven of Pentacles is about assessing, gathering facts, and then figuring out how to move forward and relying on your external support system. That helps, like, they'll help move you in the right direction is what I'm hearing. They will literally, like, it's almost like if you try to do this by yourself and you keep to yourself, it's almost like I see you just kind of, I don't know, I see you in kind of one of those hamster balls. It's actually a very funny image that I'm getting, but you know those little hamster balls, you put your little hamster in and then, like, you can close it up and then they run around the place. But I see you just kind of, like, wobbling and not really going anywhere, but then with, like, a little bit of support, I see, like, people just like gently pushing your ball, and then all of a sudden you can run, and then you're like moving in the direction that you want to go, but just having that little bit of a push. And it's almost like they support you with confidence, they support you with ideas, or they're supporting you with just their presence in general. Whatever way they support you or whatever way you feel supported, it's going to help you assess and move in the right direction. And then you also have the Four of Pentacles under here. So again, I feel like it's so interesting because I feel like your soulmates will help with like your soulmates, your soul family, soul tribe, your support system will help with getting realistic on your finances and helping you reserve your resources. The Four of Pentacles is about keeping your resources close. If some of you are having financial troubles, like keeping your finances close, saving up. So some of you could be like, okay, for example, saving up for like equipment. If you're a photographer, if you are somebody who likes to stream, saving up for like the right camera, for example. You might have people in your life that specialize in finances, like a bank friend or like a I don't know, somebody that can like, or somebody that knows a little bit about like market value, or somebody who might have connections with someone who offers that stuff for real cheap. But somebody who can help give you resources or help you understand a little bit more, so that way you can cut costs or cut corners, like not cut corners, but like cut the costs a little bit so that you can like not pay full price for everything. Some of you could be getting financial advice from these people too. And then just using that to help, like just, I see them bringing, like, especially with the Pentacles and the Swords, I see them bringing a very practical mind. And I see, especially with the balancing spirituality and practicality, if you are the type that have a lot of practical friends or a practical social circle, and you're like, oh my gosh, well, I want to do all of this art stuff, but none of them are art people. This would be like using their logic to help support your artistic dream can still be highly beneficial, because we still need to balance that, you know, wanting something to happen, the creativity part and the logic, like those two work hand in hand. The creativity and the logic, they say that, you know, one side of our brain works creatively, the other side works logically and analytically. And I do think that you need both for balance. I mean, it's in our brain. Like, the different hemispheres of the brain work together. So I do feel like that's reflected in our lives as well. Okay, and then we also have another card that I'm going to pull. So relying on your support system, facing your fears, cultivating your inner strength to step out of your comfort zone is going to help launch. It's kind of going to be like a little launch pad for you. And also that regeneration, like coming into this new life and learning to celebrate it and just being hopeful that your skills are going to just exponentially go up. That's what we, so obstacles being pushed aside with like that personal issue reaches a conclusion, or like you've worked through your shit and you're like, okay, well now I'm ready to get down to business. And then, yeah, like we're gonna see. So for those of you who are dealing with loss or grief, then this card is for you. Those of you who are dealing with the grief of a loved one that has passed, this could be for you to help your healing, but also grieving the loss of a cycle. So the old us, especially now that we're coming into a new life, I kind of sensed that I would need this deck, so I brought it down anyway, and I was like, I'm not really sure how this applies, but I'm gonna use it anyway. For some of you, it's loss. For some of you, it could be healing from an old self that you used to be, and we still mourn the loss of what we once were. So we're going to pull some cards and see any leftover messages from that to help our healing process, to help kind of not really accelerate or push us forward, but I want to say help make this transition a little bit more gentle for us. Help this new life shine a little bit brighter for us. Okay, so you have grief, grace, and grace. So this deck, I love this deck. It is Grief, Grace, and Healing, and it is by Tanya, Carroll, Richardson. So the backs of these cards talk about, like some will be labeled grief, some are labeled grace, and some are labeled healing. So you actually have one grief card and two grace cards. So for this grief card, you have engage your inner warrior. A deep reserve of strength and courage exists inside you. Sometimes when we don't feel up to a challenge, the warrior within can rise to the occasion and take over. Give your inner warrior a name, an outfit, a backstory, and a personality to help engage warrior energy. Be loving, resilient, and proactive now. This is more on that inner strength that we talked about before of facing your fears, so that would belong in that column. We also have grace, reinvent and imagine. Reinvent and reimagine. By the way, that 11, that grief card that we just read was 11, which is a master number. Ones. Love to see it. Reinvent and reimagine. Offer yourself the grace of reinventing or reimagining an aspect of yourself or your life. Grief and healing are tributaries of transformation, and grace is sending messages about how you might redefine your priorities, desires, goals, and needs. A grace you possess wants to be expressed in the world. Honor who you are today, more fully embody yourself. So this is like stepping into your new life, honoring who you are and accepting yourself for where you're at and giving yourself grace for that will belong under your regeneration. So this new life, this new cycle. And then when speaking about your community, this is belonging in the community column. Comfort your inner child. Grace pinpoints patterns in our lives and in our past. A loss you're experiencing in the present may touch upon a tender wound from childhood. When an old wound resurfaces, grace locates new medicine to mend it. Nurturing your inner child leads to positive changes now. Give yourself today what you craved as a child. This could be a standalone message as itself, but I feel like for some of you, you can engage in this inner child play with your community. So if there is a specific activity that you want to do, you may have somebody in your circle that also wants to do that activity, something that you guys used to do as kids, or even if you don't have childhood friends, something that, like, you know, if you want to go, I don't know, like to like a, I don't know why, but specifically things like laser tag or like paintball, like a paintball war. I know sometimes they have places that are like, it's like Nerf wars, but with paintballs. I can't remember what exactly it's called, paintball tag or something, but they have those, like something that seems absolutely kiddish or something for children, or like even like a big arcade, or like revisiting Chuck E. Cheese's or something, or like some arcade that maybe you used to go to as a kid, or just things that you would view as things that you did as a kid but you no longer do. You may have other people in your life that would want to indulge in that too, or find it silly with you and laugh about it, and that could help alleviate some of the pressure that your circumstances could be causing you right now. That could help bring you forward a little bit more on your journey. So I'm going to roll some dice for you to close out the reading. I always roll these angel dice, and I pull from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray. And then we got 3, 8, 6. And I always read these messages twice. The last thing we need to know about this full moon in Virgo. Taking the time to review your situation before continuing isn't giving up. It's preparing for a more enlightening and supportive experience. One more time. Taking the time to review your situation before continuing isn't giving up. It's preparing for a more enlightening and supportive experience. So take that as it resonates. That being said, thank you so much for tuning in. If this resonated with you in any way, go ahead, like and subscribe, all the things, that way you don't miss updates from me. I will be offering personal readings soon through a website that I'm about to launch, so I'm very excited about that. And also I will pull up the poll so that you guys can help me figure out which schedule to do so I can best serve you in terms of zodiac sign readings. That being said, I love you, I love you, I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye!